Dwight. Everyone knows about Dwight Mains. Either it's the literal first match in the game or they have 5-digit hours. The less hair Dwight has, the more toxic they are, and especially the ones that use the Christmas cosmetic out of season. Even as a survivor, you can feel and especially smell the toxic aura. Both Dwight's mains use lockers. The noob ones use it to hide inside because they are scared, and the toxic ones use the lockers to ruin your career as a killer. Meg. Mechheads. They sandbag their team, they waste god pallets, they will miss the skill checks of the generator they are cooperating on and sprint burst away. And the worst part is that they do not do this intentionally. It's just part of their genetics. The more expensive a mech's cosmetics are, the more time the shack palette lasts in the match, each piece adding only 5 seconds of life to it. But then there's the mask mechs, and these guys break the mold. They don't talk, don't express any feelings, and will not text in the endgame chat. They simply exist to win. Claudette. If you play killer, then you either don't see Claudette the entire match until you accidentally find her at the end, or you constantly know where Claudette is. There is no in between. As a survivor main, all the Claudettes you will get in the match will always get injured but never downed, so they can go to a random jungle gym and start self-carrying, which is weird considering that they are bad and don't last long in a chase. And if you get the GRM wannabes with a yellow bandana, then you know those will try to aggro the killer only to DC immediately after. Jake. Honestly, most Jake players follow a code of honor. They are very decent at the game and will loop the killer for a long time, will save pallets and do gens, and if a survivor playing Jake is toxic and teabags, then he is not a Jake main. They are silent, they do not do anything flashy, they are just really good players. You might not notice the impact as a survivor, but as a killer, they are probably the hardest survivors to catch. The only funny thing is that almost every single Jake will try to hide from the killer behind a thin tree or rock, and killers will pretend not to have seen them, only to smack them in the back a second later. Nea. There are two types of Nea Mains, and it depends on what language they speak. If they come from Slavic countries, then they most likely follow Ochido's team group, they are wearing the most neon flashy cosmetics in the game, they always run a flashlight despite not knowing the timing for a flashlight save, and they are definitely mad and complaining on Twitter about the removal of stretched dress, saying that the game is unplayable because of it. Now the other types of Neas are way more interesting. They are the kind that actually like the character and her fashion style, since she gets some of the best cosmetics in the game, and a secret that not many will admit is that they actually find her attractive. And I am not talking about the reworked Nea, I am talking about the OG one. No matter which one you are, the Nea is the entity jokes are not funny to you, and they never were in the first place. Laurie. In the past, the most toxic tryhard characters in the game. Now they are very rare to find just because she does not have any cosmetics and the novelty is long gone. Probably very aggressive players who know how to loop killers and most definitely use decisive strike. Also very altruistic, but they have the problem of assuming that every single survivor is also using DS. Ace. Absolute memers. Probably the survivors who are having the most fun in the match. It all started either because you liked her smirk in the lobby, or you read somewhere that Ace has built-in Iron Will. And if it's for the latter, then I guarantee that you always say that Ace has built-in Iron Will every time you get the chance. You are also addicted to looting every single chest in the game, especially the basement one. Bill. I hope I am not harsh, but Bill mains are bad, but they try their absolute best. Problem is that their best is below average. They will sacrifice themselves for you if you get hooked, and if you see them crouching somewhere, it's not because they don't want to help, it's because they are literally scared of the killer. Most definitely the weakling of the team. Feng Mains. Honestly, for me personally, they are worse than Neas in terms of toxicity. They either have the default gaming attire or a flashy skin. I admit that most of them tend to be good and try to do some crazy techs, but they easily give up and DC if the killer does not fall for the CJ. But I know that the Feng Mains who are watching my video are different type of Feng Mains, since the toxic ones are too busy lowering their MMR to bully baby killers. The Fengs that are watching this vid just find her cosmetics to be cool. They want to book the snoot of every pig they come across, and they love to pet friendly demo puppies. 100% of these Feng Mains are extreme weeps and would absolutely buy a Feng Main body pillow. And finally, they enjoy how Feng sounds like a rubber ducky every time she gets hit. David. Davids are the chattest survivors in the game, absolute team players who will do their best to protect the rest of the survivors. Even if they die, they consider it a victory if another survivor escapes. They are like your big brother. Now don't get confused, you need to know how to differentiate a real David King from a fake David King main. Just follow this easy trick. The more skin is a David showing, the more he is a David King main. If they are wearing the pride charm, they also ship him with Dwight. Quentin. There is nothing scarier than a Quentin Mains. Why? It's because of his lack of cosmetics. You don't know if the Quentin you are going to get is bad and useless or the best player you have ever seen in the game. As a killer, anytime you play against a Quentin, you have to take a risk. Either you will beat their or you will get your beat. The only way to know who is a veteran Quentin Mains without playing with them is to ask them which Quentin they prefer. If they answer Goblin, start running. Detective Tapp. Tapp Mains are extremely happy that they got an entire rift based on them. They finally feel heard. If you know a diehard Tapp Main, you are probably tired of the amount of times they say that Detective's Hunch and Stakeout are actually underrated perks and you should try running them. Statistically, the survivors that use map the most. Kate Mains are just a blank canvas. You can paint anything you want on it. The worst survivor you have ever seen in your life, or some of the most competent survivors ever. They can be calm, altruistic, or also the most toxic persons in the game. Honestly, there's no single stereotype for Kates. Adam. There is a very small chance of copying from a hook consecutively on 100 matches and having the hatch spawn in front of you, but there's an even lesser chance of having two Adam Mains in the same lobby. They will always get hooked first no matter what. Jane. You guys are all down bad, and you cannot lie to me. Jin Mains don't last long, just like in real life, and you might also think that they are very altruistic and try to heal everybody. It's not because of altruism or the points, it's because they want to position their camera in order to see the... Jeff. These guys are the most chill survivors no matter what. I have never seen a toxic or sandbagging Jeff Mains. The only thing that pisses Jeff Mains off is the fact that Feng gets another cosmetic in a row before them, and all of Jeff's cosmetics are just leather jacket variants. Why does Jane have an artist skin and Jeff, who is an actual artist, has nothing? Ash. They are all addicted to saying
Groovy.
Palletstone.
Groovy.
Safe on Hook.
What now?
Kobe.
That's me, baby.
They have subtitles on 100%.
That's right.
And as a survivor, you don't know if they are just bad or gods.
Can we do something here? Come on, kid. Push the button.
Nancy. All Nancy Mains are constantly pissed or in a bad mood. They are sworn enemies of all Mikaela Mains, and they probably see more use in the perk Clairvoyance than in any of the boons. You probably don't have all her cosmetics, and are really sad that you will never get a Robin or Joyce legendary skin. Every single Nancy Main is addicted to Twitter and TikTok. Steve. The most toxic male survivors in the entire game. They all have the Scoops Ahoy cosmetic, but without the hat to show Steve's hair. They all have a flashlight ready to appear out of nowhere to save you from the killer's grasp. They are more attracted to killers than flies to shit. If the killer runs Iron Maiden, you know for sure they are going to spam lockers so you can hear their manly cry all over the map. Jonathan Byers. Okay, I am not going to do the same joke twice. These guys are the rarest of the rarest in the entire game. They probably like his voice the most due to how realistic the screams are. Most of you are the small minority who wanted Jonathan more than Steve as a representative of the Stranger Things license because you liked his character so much in the show, and you probably wish Hopper were another legendary cosmetic. Yui. These guys are very good players overall. They can be anything, from gen jockeys to altruistic players and even good loopers or sabotage addicts. Yuis are the female Jake variants, with the same code of honor. If you get a full toxic female survivor squad, the one playing Yui is the only one who is not going to teabag at the exit gates. Thank you all Yui Mains for making the game a better place, both for survivors and for killers. Zarina. If you are a Zarina main, you were probably waiting for this moment to see what kind of stereotype you guys have because you are the least talked ones by far. You probably try to get value of your perks at least once, concluding that off the record is a worse lucky break, red herring is not that good, and for the people is actually really fun. If you're a diehard Zarina main, you probably rock the purple shirt for her. Cheryl. Cheryl Mains only care about one thing, behavior. Please unlink her cosmetics. That's all you care about, her fashion style. Every single patch you check how to unlink cosmetics just in case they patched it. You wish she had unlinked jeans in order to combo with her crop top or the Christmas sweater. I don't want to see how many Auric cells you guys have spent in order to make your dream Cheryl outfit. You probably are constantly complaining on Twitter to behavior, so they unlink her sets. Lisa Garland. There are two types of Lisa mains, the ones that have a thing for nurses and the Silent Hill diehard fans who want prestigious to also apply for legendary cosmetics in order to play a lore accurate Lisa Garland. Cybill. There are two types of Cybill Mains, the ones that have a thing for cops and the Silent Hill diehard fans. Well, I lied, there's also the third one who just bought Cybill in order to get those pants to combine with Cheryl. You also probably play her because of the voice. James Sunderland. There are two types of James Mains. The first one is the absolute Silent Hill fanboy who was constantly complaining back in 2020 how Pyramid Head being in Dead by Daylight made no sense since he is the physical manifestation of James' guilt and sexual frustration. And the other kind of James does not even care of how iconic he is, they just want Cheryl. You thought that's all? No, Alessa Gillespie Mains are probably very happy that I mentioned them since technically they are a different survivor. These people are absolute Silent Hill fans since day one. Felix Mains have a massive ego due to how much people thirst for him. They think that just by equipping the pajama and showing some chest hair they will get mercy from the killer, and they are actually right. They will always ask to be healed first no matter what, and these guys could single-handedly boost behavior's economy if they decide to release a shirtless cosmetic. Elodie Mains are happy individuals. They like her fashion style and are always trying out new cosmetic combos, probably starting with her recolors in the store. They always fake a French accent while pronouncing her name. Jin Mains are all degenerates. They either play very selfish while claiming that it's lore accurate, or all they want is for her to step on them. You probably have a very strict sense of fashion and probably bought almost all of her cosmetics. Jill. They are the badass survivors. Even if they are new, they are not scared of the killer, not even jumpscare Myers or Shackles hack. These mains are a different breed. For them, this was never a horror game. It was pure action from the start. Claire. You're probably mad that Claire looks weird in the game and wish she looked better. Probably constantly made the joke that Meg with the Zoe outfit is a bootleg Claire Redfield. Leon. Hey Leon Mains, this 15th of June is going to be your 1-year anniversary of playing Dead by Daylight. I bring the cakes. Chris Redfield. Extreme fans of Resident Evil probably know that Chris is the best Resident Evil character and know that if he was not nerfed, he could beat the living shit out of half of the killer cast. These boulder punching badasses are waiting for Carlos to be another legendary skin. Mikaela. These guys are the new generation of Nea Mains. In some years, everyone will know her as the toxic tryhard main, but it's still too early. One thing for sure is that after so many years of hearing the same joke of extremely obvious totem or hexes at the start of the games, for some reason you are cursed and I cannot find a totem spot to boon it, but the moment you don't run any boons, they are everywhere. Addicted to booning totems even after a plague, will put booning as a priority above everything. Jonah. 90% of Jonah players use these cosmetics. Not much that I can say about them. They are fresh. Probably only spent blood points to get overcome and end up not using it despite thinking it would be the new meta. Still waiting to get exponential value. Yoichi. Finally, a male Japanese survivor. But of course he had to have a octopus cosmetic. There's a 10% of Yoichi Mains who just play him because it's the closest they will get to playing as Six from Little Nightmares or as Georgie from It. Still pissed at behavior for nerfing parental guidance. Haddie Kaur. 50% of you will say who, and the other 50% is probably extreme addicts to the lore of Dead by Daylight or people who watch Pixel Bush, Schmuckles or The King religiously. Well, that's about it. I hope I didn't forget anyone. Do you have any other experiences with survivors that are missing in this vid? Make sure to comment them, and thank you for watching.